day everyone, I'm Kenji Riales and we're Group 2 and my other reporter is Christine Braga. So our topic for today is comparative advantage and gains from trade. So what is the reason for trade? Countries benefit when they specialize in producing goods for which they have a comparative advantage and engage trade for other goods. Siyempre, naman tay kahinaan every countries nato ug napud tay kumbaga kakusgan ba ug asa ta mas lamang. Let's say for example sa mga lain-lain nga nasod hinetag mga production of goods or something mo nang uban supplyan ta import nga na. So what is international trade? This the exchange of capital, goods and services across international borders or territories. Trading partners reap mutual gains which each nation specializes in goods for which it holds comparative advantage and then engage in trade for other products. What I've said kaganiha, moto nga every country makiguadjud kay mas mapalawak nila ilang business kumbaga ba. Mo na siya ang usa ka reason. So unsa may comparative advantage, other reasons for trade. So number 1, differences in factor endowments. Countries have different amount of land, labor, and capital. Like Saudi Arabia may have a lot of oil but perhaps not enough lumber. So it will thus have to trade for lumber. Japan may be able to produce technological goods technological goods of superior quality, but it may lack many natural resources. Mo man sa Japan na to, okay, mo lagi kay. Grabe na sila og kanang ang Japan o let's say istorya lang ta sa technology. Grabe kay sila mga advanced kayo. And then sa kuan pod sa Saudi Arabia, mga Middle East countries ba mo na nga ang uban labi na sa mga Middle East countries nato. Grabe kay sila oil nga mga preserved something yan and then ila na i-trade for something tuwang sa ila. Mo na nga mapalawak nila ang business. Mas daghan sila kuan ba ma-earns ba mga gains kumbaga. So the second one is gains from specialization. Countries may gain economies of scale from specialization, experiencing long-run average cost decline and output increases. So mo na ni siya kanang ganing ug unsa may maayo sa inyong lugar dapat ninyo i-specialize, dapat ninyo mas mapamaayo. Kay para kamo mas maka-benefit ana ang country. Kay lisod man po lain-lain specialize kuno niya. Wala na di mo maka-focus sa usa. Para sa China, ang ilagi focus is kanang production, so mga kanang ganing paghimog mga kanang ganing sa labor, sa mga nga mo na nga uban kabantay ka nga made in China pero ang products aw ang mga items is gikan sa lain sa England, sa mga didto lang gihimo. So, the third one is political benefits. Countries can leverage trade to forge closer cultural and political bonds. International connections also help promote diplomatic and solutions to international problems. And the next one is efficiency gains. Domestic firms will be forced to become more efficient in order to competitive in global market. Mao na ni siya. Okay, mas gipakuan man nato ba nga atong business mas ipalawak mo. So muna nga mas efficient siya in order para makakumpit siya sa global market. Para sa tanan na siya. Di naman siya kay sa country lang nimo, whole wide world man na siya. Okay? So, the last one is benefits of increased competition. A greater degree of competition leads to lower prices of consumer and greater responsiveness to consumer wants and needs and wider variety of products. So, muna siya supply and demand. E nga ni siya. Kay, once manggod nga, labi na ka ng, let's say example, ikaw, negosyo ka, and then, kita imog daghan kag kompetensya ba? Tima, ikaw, lisod po kayo, magmahal ka, yung imong montra barato. So muna nga ikaw, magpaubos ka, magpaubos sa nanay ba? Pero syempre, kaya ang negosyo di ba na magpalugi? Bao na, na may strategic, at saan yung pagbuhat sa anak. So, the next one is understanding production possibilities. Production Possibility Frontier or PPF shows the combination of output that could be produced using available inputs. Kung sa may mga available sa inyong lugar, sa countries ninyo. Natay graph din sa kita. So, defining the absolute advantage. Absolute advantage refers to the ability of the country to produce a good more efficient than other countries. So, for example, imagine that economy A can produce 5 widgets per hour with 3 workers. Economy B can provide 10 widgets per hour with 3 workers. Assuming that the workers both economies are paid equally and economy B has the absolute advantage over the economy A. So, diri na ang absolute advantage refers siya sa time. Time og unsa ka paspas gihimo. Kay ano na ang gud nimo? 5 compared to 10 is dako siya kalamangan. So, mas advantage diri ang B, di ba? Country B. Kay same siya time nga mahimo, pero mas damo siya nahimo compared sa other niya competition. Okay? So, the next one is determining competitive advantage. Comparative advantage refers to ability of a party to produce particular goods or service at a lower marginal opportunity cost. Another. Kani. Kumbaga mas barato siya ba. Natay graph diri dili graph, natay example diri sa production without trade. So this is the accompanying table shows that Chiplandia has comparative advantage in computer chip production. Kay compared nimo diri sa Chiplandia sa Tainia. Okay. One computer chip ma-produce ra niya is 5 hours. Compared sa Tainia is 24 hours. So dako siya kalamangan kumbaga. Sa CD, without trade this without trade. Sa CD is one player, okay dire. Ipakita na siya sa video later. Damo na siya og tagsa-tagsaong panato. So sa the comparative ato na siya iusa. The comparative advantage, Chiplandia has the comparative advantage in producing computer chips, while Tainia is have comparative advantage in producing CD players. Both nations can benefit from trade. So, di po ilugi. May tabo. Kay both man siya, naman siya, kumbaga, kahinaan, ug naapod siya kakusiyan. So, yan na. So, the comparative versus competitive advantage. Competitive advantage refers to distinguish attribute of a company or a product. It may or may not have anything to do with the opportunity cost efficiency. While the comparative refers to the ability of a party to produce a particular good or service at a lower marginal opportunity cost over another. So, siyempre, comparative, mas barato ra gid siya compared sa competitive advantage na itong ako. And more is okay, the absolute advantage versus comparative advantage. Absolute advantage refers to the differences productivity of nations. Comparative advantage refers to differences in opportunity cost. Let's say, for example, not the example there. The company figure shows that the amount output of country A and country B can produce in a given period of time. Country A uses less time than the country B to make either food or clothing. Country A makes 6 units of food while country B makes 1 unit. A country A figure shows that the amount output of country A and country B can produce in a given period of time. Country A uses less time than the country B to make either food or clothing. Country A makes 6 units of food while country B makes 1 unit. A country A makes 3 units while country B makes 2. In other words, country A has the absolute advantage in making both food and cloth. Na makita na to, di ba ang ato giingon is absolute kay diri mag-base og time ug giunsa niya pag kapaspas paghimo. And then same ra siya time compared sa other countries. So, output per day of work. Country A 6 food and clothing 3, In country B is 1. So layo kay sa gap, diba?
So, what are the benefits of specialization? Greater efficiency. Countries specialize in areas that they are naturally good and also benefit from increasing
Return to scale for the production of these goods. Muna to ako na example kaganiha katong mga Middle East nga countries nga grabe nga
gi-specialize gud nila ang pag-produce or pagkuan og kana ganing mga oil, something
nga well, I think I don't know if pila sila ka percent nga ga-produce or ga-supply sa whole wide world about sa oil mo na nga ilagi paniguro nga di sila advantage sa tanan nga uban countries nito mo na nga dato kadyo sila. So no, second one is consumer benefits. Specialization means that the opportunity cost of production is lower, which means that the globally more goods are produced and prices are lower. Consumer benefits from these lower prices and greater quantity of goods.
Muna supply and demand nga maka-benefit sa gyud labi dinaghan ba kumbaga. Kaya makapalit naman sila at lower price sa usa ka goods.
And the third one is opportunities for competitive sectors. Firms gains access to the whole world market, which allows them to grow bigger and benefit further from economies of scale. So mo to nga dili naman sa ilang country ba nga mga market. So para mas mapalawak nila, mas mapadamo nila ang ilang gains, muna nga musod sila og global market.
So the last one is gains from trade. Suppose that Britain and Portugal each other produce
Wine and cloth.
Muna na siya nga kana ganing each country maka-benefit gyud labi na sa country labi na sa trade kay ug asa ta kusog ato sa damo mo bigay asa ta hinay mo pasupply sa damo. And that's it. Next reporter. Thank you.
Let's proceed. Potential downside to specialization traits to uncompetitive sectors. Some parts of the economic may not be able to compete with cheaper or better imports. So, is competitive trade is competitions that hasn't occurred but has potential to occur. It is risk of competitions as with many risks of competitive trade has a probability and impact and may be traits. For example of that is has a new competitions. The potential has new firms to compete for your customers. So, number 2, rise of over-specialization. Global demand may shift so that there is no longer demand for the goods or services produced by a country. So, for example, the global demand for rubber has fallen due to the availability of synthetic substitutes. Country may experience high level of persistent structural unemployment and low gross domestic production because demand for rubber has been fallen man. So ang panglitan asa manufacturer nagkuwang ka og produce og product sa kanang country, mao na siya ang nagka-over specialization. So number 3, strategic vulnerability, relying on another country for vital resources, making a country dependent on the country political economics. Change in a second country may impact the supply of goods or services available for the first. So it is also defined as decrease or change by the application on actions within the capability of another nation to impose. So, relationship between specialization and trade. Specialization refers to the tendency of countries to specialize in certain products which they are trade for other goods rather than producing all consumption goods on their own. So, specialization is involves focusing on one product or limit scope of products so as become one is also to become more efficient. So, ang specialization is nagproduce ra siya og limit number of goods instead of dagko na like wide variety to more efficiently produce those products. So, example sa specialization is a country can produce banana at a lower cost than orange. So, it can choose to specialize and dedicate all its resources to have production of banana using some of them to trade for orange. So, mo to siya ang specialization. Nag-focus lang siya sa one product or naa siya limit para mo produce. So, ang trade is decide on whether they should export or import goods depending on comparative advantage. So, ang trade is a voluntary exchange of goods or services between different economic actors. So, voluntary, walay force, walay nahitabo nga gipirit siya og pag-export ana nga country, wala voluntary, yang own lang siya kanang willing ra siya nag-import at or nag-trade ra siya ngadto sa lain country. So, for example, ana is so not panglitan is 2%. So, si Grace and Iman has a food but needs water. Whereas Grace has water but need food. So, Grace and Iman will exchange food and water with each other so that Grace get foods and Iman gets water, making both of them satisfied. So, sila is nag-exchange ra bitaw, si Grace is nag-conpod og kanang water, yes, si Iman is nag-conpod og foods. So, let's proceed the economic impact of selling goods to other countries. So, first is export. Export is defined as the act of a country shipping goods and services of the port of a country. In international trade, an export refers to the selling of goods and services produced in the home country to another market or country. So, ang export is direct because sending goods or services to another country for sale. So, goods and services that a country produces domestically and within the border of its own country and sells abroad in the foreign. So, for example, sa export, coffee, some of the top exporters of coffee are Vietnam, Brazil, Colombia, Indonesia, India, Mexico. But the main export of coffee is ang Colombia because Colombia is a country known for its higher quality of coffee. So next, protecting export. So protecting export commercial goods and subject to custom authorities for both an exporting and importing countries. So, when legal restrictions and trade barriers are less than lifted, the producer surplus dapat imuhang ipang gisand sa lain country is dili mga reject or kanang protected kay siya para pag-abot na dusa is dili damo og so para wala na sila mareklamo ug mo increase ang amount of global and services that are exported to another country. So the map show the primary exporter for countries around the globe. So the colors indicate the leading merchandise export destination for the indicated country. But the United States main export destination is the European Union. So, impact of export. Exporting goods and services has both advantage and disadvantage for countries involved in international trades. So, exporting allows a country's produce to gain ownership. So, ang advantage sa impact of export is increased sales, market shares, and profit, lower per unit cost, expand life cycle of the product, while ang disadvantage sa export is extra cost, financial risk, product adaptation, lack of market information. The economics impact of buying goods from other country. So imports is indirect siya. 'Di ba? Ang export is direct man to. So ang import is indirect. Are defined or purchase of goods and services by a domestic economic from a foreign economy. So ang imports are foreign goods and services brought by citizen, businesses, and the government of another country. So, natin ko example sa export. So, for example, even tourism product and services are imports. When you are traveling around the country, diba, magpalit man jud ka og souvenir para nakaipasalubong pag uli nimo. So, protecting imports. Due to the economic importance of imports, country and specific law, barriers, and policies in order to regulate international trade. So, a policy of protecting the domestic producers of a product by imposing tariff, quotas, or other barriers on export. So, ang tariff DI is a system of government-imposed duty levied on imported goods. So, ang para maprotektahan sad ang pag-import sa laing country. So na may map. So the map show the largest import on international scale. So the color indicates the leading source of merchandise import for that indicate country. The United States import the largest percentage of its goods from China. Import accounts for significant share in the gross domestic product or of a country. So, impact of buying imported goods. On a national level, in most countries, international trade and importing goods represent a significant share of the gross domestic product. So, impact of buying imported goods is kanang sa laing lugar is makabarato ka sa pag-buy or sa ilang mga services, while sa anhina sa atong country is mahal na noon ang mga palito niya. Ang international trade has a significant economic, social, and political importance in many countries because import provides countries with access to goods and services from other nations. Because without imports, a country would be limited the goods and services within its own borders. So, ayun na sa cost and trade. So, free trades is a policy when government do not discriminate against export and imports. There are few or no restriction on trades, and markets are open to both foreign and domestic supply and demand. So free trade is a refers to policies that allows permit inexpensive imports and export without tariff or other trade barriers. So free trade they have agreements. A group of countries agrees to lower their tariff or other barriers to facilitate more exchange within their trading partner. So, ang government daw is wala siya nag-against or nag-discriminate sa pag-export sa lain o pag-import pod. So, cost sa advantage, we all know naman sa advantage, di ba? Ang advantage is that something maka-help to give you a better to success than others. So, ang advantage free trade is beneficial to society because it eliminates import and export tariff. So its kind siya is advantage pod ana niya is in society in a lower price for consumer, increase export and a greater choice of goods, and it creates growth opportunities and open a new market for countries. It's more to attract foreign direct investment and increase gross domestic product. So ang disadvantage, so di ba ang disadvantage mo na cause sa kanang problems or sa situation. So ang disadvantage sa free trade is the selective applications of free trade economics efficiency and can be created through trade diversion. So kanitsad siya is massive jobs, losses of domestic industry may last to cheaper versus competitors. So dapay usa is predatory pricing by foreign firms that may drive out efficient local companies. So moto siya ang disadvantage sa free trade. So thank you.